Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to BSV TV. I'm your host Satoshi, and on this show we'll be defending the one and only, truly genuine Bitcoin. The Bitcoin that Satoshi Nakamoto designed in his white paper as a peer-to-peer electronic cash system for the world. Let's get the disclaimers out of the way. So all the statements that you hear on this show are opinion and must only ever be taken as opinion. They are never to be taken as any form of advice, family, financial, sexual or otherwise. And on that note, let's sit back, relax, have some fun and enjoy the show. Get paid for your content in Bitcoin and set your own fee on Streamanity.
Yeah, I'm not surprised I wasn't asked why I'm convinced Craig is Satoshi. I posted on Reddit. He signed in my presence using the private key from block number one, the very first mined Bitcoin block. On a computer that I'm convinced had not been tampered with, on software I'm convinced that had not been tampered with, a message of my choosing.
At InChain, we've just funded a number of universities doing, so far, a test up to 1 gigabyte because it validates what we've already done independently. We've tested up to 380 gigabyte blocks. We've tested 1 million transactions a second and transaction sizes up to 20 megabytes. Super complex scripts. Basically ones that can run operating systems. That's basically all of global commerce times about 50. On top of that, we can have complex scripts. On top of that, we can scale each of those transactions 1,000 times, which effectively means about 1 billion transactions per second, which means we can then have all derivatives, all complex trades. That means high frequency trading. It means everything that happens globally.
Is the market that effectively BSV is going for, is that global e-commerce, which is currently valued at $29 trillion?
No, that's too small.
Buy and sell Bitcoin instantly at bsvgravity.com. And you can now book and pay for your winter holiday at skibsv.com. Good afternoon, everybody. Oh, it looks like we are back online and we are live. Oh my goodness me. Well, that was a lesson learnt. So now I know that if you try to reduce your output so that your listeners can listen in live, but you don't reduce your base output, your computer apparently has to now work twice as hard to encode the different resolution in the base rate to the output, and then takes up even more like disk space on your computer, and it crashes. So that was a lesson learnt. Oh my goodness me. But talking about lessons learnt, there are gonna be some lessons learnt today after this. The news that we are going to touch on today with XRP. Oh my goodness. So anyway, before we get into that, let's have the quick rundown of the figures because I haven't seen these yet. This is the crypto forecast, the strength of the system, the health of the network. So we have got Bitcoin with 0.5% of the hash rate, Bcrash 1.1. And by the way, for any newbies who are listening in, because there are going to be quite a few very soon, Bcrash is a complete shitcoin. The reason that it's a shitcoin is because they have centralized the network. And when you centralize control of a network, you centralize control of the token that is running on it, which is Bcrash. Which means if you have a centralized control of money, the money itself has no value. And they have centralized the network by adding in checkpoints and changing the protocol every 6 months, which means that it is now a permission-based protocol, which means sooner or later they'll realize that the price is purely a speculative price against the fundamental value of Bitcoin, which is currently BSV, but obviously the fundamental value is in the multiple millions, out of which the price that they have got is worth absolutely nothing. And it's the same with Corecoin. Corecoin is a knockoff of Bitcoin because what they did is they segregated the signatures because it's the signatures that were designed by Satoshi Nakamoto to hold all the users on the network to account. If you don't have accountability, you have centralization. So what Blockstream did is they centralized the network, prevented it from scaling, told people they shouldn't use it, telling them it was a store of value, that it was no longer a peer-to-peer electronic cash system, you're not meant to use it, it's for expensive transactions only, and limited the block size so very few people could use it. It is an absolute crock of shit, basically. But the reason they have a 98.6% of the hash rate is because they purely have the price to sustain it. So it just means that miners can sell their BTC shit and cover their mining costs, but that is it. So network nodes, you've got Bitcoin with 2.3, Bcrash 10.3, Coolcoin 87.4. Transactions though, this is where the value is. We've got Bitcoin with 61.9, Bcrash 2.4. Oh, they've got over 2%. Congratulations to them. It's unusual for them. And 35.7 for Coolcoin, even though they don't want transactions on the network, and they continually tell people not to use it. Timeline Tourist in the house. Thank you very much. Yeah, I saw you and Shelly Mack in there as well. Thank you very much for joining me. Sorry about the disruption as I just first started there. Lessons learnt. Block size 56.1. Bcrash 2.9, and then Coolcoin 41. So let's just play spot the biggest block on Bcrash, and we'll, oh, look at this, Hathor on Bitcoin, mining blocks with data in it. So that's actually mined sort of like 0.5 megabyte there almost. Again, all these blocks, yeah, I mean they're relatively small blocks, but they're still blocks with data in it. Let's see what they're doing on Bcrash then, as well as trying to spot the biggest block. So I can spot a 383 by Jihan of BTC.com, but Hathor's still 0.25, 0.25, yeah, 0.25. So it's just like Hathor is just mining those empty blocks at the moment, just a slow stranglehold. Any other blocks? Yeah, any 0.25, they're all Hathor. Hathor was 0.25, but oh, I can see, oh, Hathor has actually mined a block with 417. Ooh, mining the odd juicy block here and there. No way, but look at this here, 0.25, 0.25. They're a big miner. So it looks like, I mean, look, had they, Bcrash have not even got over 0.5 megabyte. Absolute twaddle, absolute twaddle. And we look over at Coolcoin, and again we can see the block sizes restriction. They literally can't do anything on there. It is so ridiculous. Like, you know, in order for something to be commodity money, it has to have a value. Like gold is just not simply valuable as a medium of exchange. It started as a medium of exchange because it had value as a use case. It was useful because it is you know, non-corrosive, it's highly conductive, it's divisible, it's malleable, it looks pretty, you know. Bitcoin is backed by the value of blockchain technology, which is absolutely huge. As we saw the Google, we went over the Google outage in yesterday's show. Bitcoin and blockchain technology prevents all of that. And people are saying, oh, you know, we've got all these different chains and whatnot. It is not the chain. The chain, like when people say blockchain, blockchain is just simply the process that the system uses to store data. You have to think of it as a network. Like people think, oh, what's a blockchain? It's a chain of blocks of data. Well, yeah, but that's the technical side of it. That's how it just simply stores data. It is a network, and you access it just the same way you use the current internet, but instead of being on centralized servers who steal your data, who control your data and everything about you and sell it to third parties, that is now no longer going to happen anymore. And the reason it's not going to happen anymore is because you're going to own your data. And the reason you own your data is because nobody can delete it. Nobody can crack it, hack it, alter it, or change it. You have complete sovereignty over it, and it's not susceptible to virus software anymore. It's absolutely massive. The entire world is digital. Bitcoin is literally the most amazing and the best money this world has ever seen. And I literally have to pinch myself to think that we here in BSV are sat right on this. I cannot stress this enough. It is so big. And talking about how confused and how stupid all these other people are, we'll come on to that in just a minute in the rest of the show. But for any of you who don't see this live, you're going to have to watch the full episode on Streamanity, because this is obviously just going to be in the trailer, which will be on, dare I say it, like I was gonna think of a superfluitive for YouTube then. Who delete my shows? But let's have a look, see if we can find the biggest block on Bitcoin. So it looks like there's a 4.4, oh, a 7.6 by Tal. Tal are loving those big blocks, as huge amounts of data are expected on their network very soon. Very soon. So let's have a quick look at Bcrash just for lulz. And we know what this is going to look like anyway, but I mean, it's just such a joke. Anne-Marie wanting his money. Look at that. This is Anne-Marie's coin down there with no value whatsoever. Like, absolute fool. Bitching chain going up and down like a horse draws. Proof of work by network again. The Anne-Marie's coin looks like an absolute joke in comparison to Bcrash, which itself is an absolute joke. And then we got the bitching chain again, Hathor all over that. Antpool and BTC.com down in second and third respectively. But yeah, it looks like, I mean, Hathor's got more hash rate than both of those combined. Oh dear, oh dear. You have to laugh. You got to laugh. Look at this. For some reason, like, I don't know what on earth Dutch mining are doing. Again, you've got all these mining companies taking a punt, you know, thinking, oh, this is going to be, again, the entire market is speculative, but that myth is going to be smashed very soon. Again, we'll come on to that in just a second after we get through these numbers. So again, we'll just look at Anne-Marie's chain. Again, Hathor on there taking these empty blocks. I mean, Hathor isn't even all that bothered. I mean, there's just no data on there whatsoever. It's hilarious. I do not understand why SBI Crypto are on the bitching chain. Who knows? Could it be Roger's influence? Has he misguided them, or are they just you know, pissing around? Who knows? Who knows? But time will tell, as it always does. So let's just get back onto the main charts then. Let's have a look at the graphs heading towards the global hash rate, which we shall look at in just a minute. So here we've got Bitcoin hash rate by network. Yeah, again, as we sort of like just looked at really. So proof of work by network, again, Coolcoin and Bcrash will just simply stop, just like XRP has been stopped by the SEC. Coolcoin and Bcrash will simply be stopped by economic forces, yeah, and technical ones as well, to be honest with you. They're just literally going to come to a grinding halt, like, all of a sudden. Like, if you are holding XRP, for example, and then the SEC suddenly come out with a statement, the price tanks. That is what's going to happen if you're in these shitcoins. The price is just literally one day going to tank, and you're going to be holding it going, why didn't I buy Bitcoin? Why didn't I listen to Satoshi on Bitcoiners VTV? He knows everything. And I didn't listen to him because I was too busy trolling him and calling him names. Here we go. So we got the bitching chain as Bcrash versus Bitcoin hash rate. Bcrash versus Bitcoin proof of work. Here we go. It is 65,000 times cheaper to transact on Bitcoin than Coolcoin, because Coolcoin's a piece of crap. It is 1.6% more profitable to mine on Coolcoin than Bitcoin, because people are stupid. Daily average Bitcoin block size by network. Bitcoin winning. Transactions by network. Bitcoin smashing it. Transactions per block. Bitcoin winning. Fees USD. Bitcoin smashing it. Fees Satoshi's Bitcoin smashing it. Block reward ratio, again, that will come with time, which will follow which will come with price, which will follow value, and as we can see, value is being added to Bitcoin all the time. Daily accumulated Bitcoin growth by network, again, Bcrash down here looks very similar to Anne-Marie's comparison to the bitching chain, but again, you know, Coolcoin would just simply stop one day, night or day. So hash rate 7 days, Binance macking it hard this week. BTC.com, which is Jihan macking it hard this week. We'll have to see where the hash rate has been put. Huobi macking it hard, pushing pooling down into 5th place now. Oh, come on, let's do this. Here we go. Let's get these things sorted out. There we go. And pool, just below pool in there. So global hash rate, 24 hours. This probably looks very similar to Coolcoin. Oh, no, Binance and BTC.com swapping places today. Pooling jumping up above Huobi. But yeah, the rest of it's kind of like the same. So Coolcoin, Binance loving Coolcoin. BTC.com is Jihan loving Coolcoin, and Pool on there. Pooling, we'll have to find out what these shitcoin enterprises were. B crash. So SBI Crypto, for some reason or other, you know, are they teaming up with Hathor for lulz on the chain? You know, you know, is SBI Crypto in the same camp as Jihan, which is BTC.com, and Antpool, which is you know, Bitmain? You know, trying to take Hathor out of the equation, not understanding how Hathor has been able to get such a huge amount of hash rate on the chain and steal those empty blocks because of very deep understanding, technical know-how, which these chumps clearly do not have. And let's have a look at Bitcoin. Wow, look at that. Tal absolutely macking it. Loving those blocks full of data. Looks like Huobi might have to pull their socks up, but Huobi maybe, you know, maybe a little bit of a shitcoiner. Still don't really understand what they're missing. They're still fancying a bit of Coolcoin, you know, hedging their bets. Who knows? Who knows? But Hathor is on there, but Hathor is actually on there processing transactions. So you know, working hard. So that's all right. Not playing silly buggers, but we don't mind Hathor playing silly buggers with the shitcoins. Do what you want with them. Pump and dump them, trade them, do what you like. I'm not bothered. I'm not fussed. I just find it hilarious. But Dutch mining is on it. Oh, Binance have jumped on the chain a little bit. Look, they can't get enough, can they? You know, just like, but Hathor was able to boot them off. And so it looks like they've made a conscious decision to jump back on it. Ooh, you know, probably getting a cold sweat on. Well, the entire market will be getting a cold sweat on in a minute, as I shall explain very soon. So that's coin dance done. Let's have a look at some of these other metrics quickly while we are here. So again, for newbies, this is Bitcoin Blocks Live. If you don't understand what you're looking at here, this is the Bitcoin blockchain, the global blockchain, the distributed ledger technology, working live in front of your very eyes. In the top right hand corner, we've got transactions per second, currently 2.4. I've seen this over 3,000, and it will be much higher than that in the near future. Yes, indeed. Again, these vertical rectangular blocks you can see here are moving to the right. These are transactions being recognized by the nodes on the network. And then below it, you've got a description of the company or organization that's generated those transactions, and then we have the transaction ID, the input output, the type, and then usually the op return details. And then below that, once the transactions are recognized by the nodes on the network, they're then thrown into the meme pool, which is where they are competed for by the miners who look to build a block, put the transaction in the block, process it, put it on the blockchain where it is stored forever, immutably, where it cannot be cracked, hacked, altered, or changed, and serves as a universal source of truth forever and a day, as they say. So we can see we've got small blocks being mined there at the moment. Let's zoom in a little bit, shall we? Oh, zoom more. It was like, that was, should we zoom in? Oh no, that's zooming out. There we go. This is zooming in. It makes those blocks look a little bit more entertaining. Now we're only got a 7.6 on that one, but anywho, if we just scroll over that one, we can see below it in the highlighted rectangular box, we have the hash number of that block, the block height, who mined it, the size, the time and date, the transaction count, and the total fees. And in this block, we're looking at the total fees are $3.59, and it is predicted that by Q1 of 2021, which is just a few months away, that the total fees in the block will surpass the block reward. So we're expecting a huge number of transactions on chain, which is why Tal is actually changing their business model from trying to win blocks to actually processing transactions. because the block reward gets cut in half every 210,000 blocks, and whereas shitcoiners will just simply tell you that scarcity make number go up, which is just so stupid. It's so stupid. It is utility that makes number go up. It is utility that shows value. So the block reward is meant to encourage massive value on chain because you've made so much money from the value of Bitcoin being such a fantastic medium of exchange that runs on the blockchain, which is an immutable source of truth. So therefore your transactions on it can be trusted. Again, I won't go into all of that detail, but basically with the block reward getting cut in half, it gives you a sense of urgency, which means that as miners add value, which is increasing speed and scale and reducing cost of transactions, more and more people come in to use the network, and then as the volume of transactions increases, the total fees in each block will also increase with the volume of transactions, which will counteract the block reward halving, which means the system can run indefinitely. That's the whole point. It's not just simply like a 100-year pump and dump crap. It's already been 10 years and the block rewards happens every 4 years. In the next couple of years there will just simply not be enough transactions on chain to sustain the miners, which is what Blockstream wants. They want Bitcoin to fail, which is why they have centralized the network and crashed its value to 0, which is why they've prevented the block size from scaling so that more people can use it. Actually, I laugh at myself just explaining how stupid these shitcoiners are. It's absolutely nuts. Another metric we like looking at, this is the BitInfo chart. They have a rich list up here, which is really hilarious because you can see which wallets or what wallets or how many wallets contain the most Bitcoin or shitcoin. And if we go to BitInfo charts over on the left hand side, if we click on those, we can scroll over the highlighted tabs in blue. We'll go to transactions average per hour because this is where the utility is. We'll take out Doge because it's a piece of shit, but we'll add in Bitcoin because that's the only comparison we really want. And we'll add in Bcrash for lulz. Keep Litecoin in there for lulz as well. We'll do the log and we'll do over 3 years. And as you can see, Bitcoin was only recognized to be started on the 15th of November 2018, and look at where the transactions are now. That is over 25 months, knocking on the door of Ethereum. So currently Bitcoin with 1.0, basically 1.06 million transactions, Ethereum with just 1.1 million. So really knocking on the door of Ethereum. And we all know that XRP doesn't count because it's an absolute piece of crap. We'll just take out Dogecoin because we don't need that one in there. That's more like it. So you can see Bcrash and Litecoin, much of a muchness, utter shitcoins, total shitcoins, and we'll come on to shitcoins in more detail in just a mo. So that's that done. Let's just check out a few metrics on Twitter before we get into crypto Twitter. Check it out. This was the tweet that set the Twitter world on fire. This says the SEC charges Ripple and 2 executives with conducting $1.3 billion worth of unregistered securities offering. Oh dear. So this was an article by Bitpanda Academy. Again, Bitpanda is a shitcoiner. But he was talking about pre-mine here. So he goes, what does pre-mine mean? I could tell you probably better than this guy, but just to show you that somebody else is also saying this. Bitcoin uses a process called mining to issue new coins and to reward participation in the network. Other cryptocurrencies such as Ripple, Cardano, Stellar, EOS, or Neo are pre-mined. Now, if Ripple and XRP is pre-mined and that's deemed a security, that means all these mentioned here are all securities as well. Cardano uses proof of work, but it is only IOHK that can mine Cardano, and therefore they pre-mined Cardano and then sold it, which means it is a security. Ripple doesn't even use proof of work. They literally just create it on the spot by a centralized authority. It is absolutely a security. Now Ripple, Stellar, Neo and Tron are all created in the same way. in the same way. So they are all absolutely securities if XRP is a security. Now, EOS, for example, EOS is delegated proof of stake. But in order to have the delegated proof of stake, the coins have to be pre-mined initially. So that also is pre-mined. Now, Ethereum 2.0 is going to proof of stake. Now, to have proof of stake, those coins also have to be pre-mined. So that is pre-mined as well. It's really not looking good for the entire market. I mean, this is, this is nothing compared to what is going to come, in the future. Like, oh my goodness me. Oh, it's quite big chat in there today. I tell you, we'll leave this lovely coin crab chart up there. I mean, I even did the logo. Look. I mean, this was quite a while ago, but I mean, literally, it's so funny. Maybe I should send this to what's his name, Scaramucci. All right, mate. Look, give me £1 million. Give me £1 million, and I will save you hundreds of millions. And I'll just send him this. There you go, mate. That's the only chart you need to look at. How's that? I mean, I've done the work for them. It's all here. This information to you, my lucky listeners, is literally worth billions. Billions. And as Richard Leach said earlier today, he goes, oh, I'm sounding like Toshi. I actually want the price to go down because I want to buy more. Exactly. When you understand that, the value doesn't change, when the price goes down, you just understand you're getting better value for money. So if you're going in, which you should be going in as much as you can, steadily and consistently, every time you get a dip in the price, you're just like, oh, yeah, great, take advantage of that, better value for money. That's what I'm saying. I want to see lower prices because the lower price has no effect on the value whatsoever. That is it. So the lower price just means you get more. If the price goes up, it just means you feel richer. That is it. But on that note, I hope you've enjoyed it. It's been a good one. I'm going to edit the show now. And as ever, be aware, take care, stay safe out there. Joy given. Same time tomorrow. Catch you later. BuyBSV.live, the best place to buy Bitcoin SV online. Get paid for your content in Bitcoin and watch the full episode on Streamanity for just 20 cents. Go to www.satoshi.tv. See the link in the description below. Bitcoin, one world, one chain.